Welcome, visionaries. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. Thought I'd talk a bit about some of our INFJ paradoxes today. Yeah. First one is this the warmth that we project, which is genuine, but I'm sure people are often surprised to find how cold we can be as well. And the warmth, obviously, the extroverted feeling. The cold is not just the TI, the introverted thinking, but also the introverted intuition in conjunction. That mostly it's TI though, I think, which is logic. We're very logical. People don't really understand that about us. I don't think. Um, Logic has got to be applied to all intuitions and all interactions. And if someone comes up short, woe betide. Um, I do know I have had quite a few friends that are INTPs, and they're very interesting because they can be quite quirky and erratic seeming people. But when you get to know them, you know that everything they do is the extension of some sort of logical connection that they've made. No matter how erratic or funky that seems to the outside world. And that's educational for us, I think, because in their case, it's right up front. In our case, it's buried a bit, but definitely functional. Yeah. Um, what's another good paradox? The we are capable of being very moral people, but our sense of morality is not the standard, or should I say, bog standard approach to morality that many others have. We like to take in and consider all the different aspects of well, I should talk for myself. I like to take in and consider as many different aspects and angles of a situation as I can possibly acquire, and consider all of them before coming to any sort of judgment. And I think a lot of this is because our primary function, our introverted intuition, is it's mostly it is a perceiving function, and it took me a long time to really understand that. As I said, Mrs. Dragon is a INFP, and someone, that fellow I told you about in another broadcast who took the test and discovered he was INTP. One of the questions he says, "Well, what's the difference between the J and the P?" And honestly, I'm not the best dragon to ask about that. I really am a little sketchy on it. But I can tell you one of the things I always thought was interesting is that I will tend to give people a benefit of a doubt, um, even though if they go past a certain point and I put them into some sort of box, it's going to be harder for them to get out of the box, but not impossible. Whereas I have to say with Mrs. Dragon, she pretty much makes her conclusions and or judgments, I should say, and that's it. Now she also could be swayed, but it's very, very difficult once she's made her initial summation of what a person or situation is, or it could be even some sort of food or something that she's never had before. No, I don't want it. I don't like it. I say, well, you never had it before. Yeah, but I don't want it. Right? And we're not clinical when it comes to morality. We can be idiosyncratic. It would be a good way to put it. I'm just laughing. I'm not going to say the phrase that come to mind because I don't want the channel to get flagged. But AH did nothing wrong, for example, might be something an INFJ could say. Oh, well, there was this and there was that and the other thing, and they had a rough childhood and whatever. So that's another paradox. INFJ paradox. Yeah. Um, we're gracious. We are inviting to a certain degree, but we won't let everybody into every place in our psyche. In fact, I can say I don't think anyone gets full access, including ourselves. There's places in our own minds that I will say we go there. It's not like we're afraid of any aspect. I don't think personally I'm afraid of any aspect of my interior reality. There's nothing too dark or too um, scary that I won't look at it and address it. But what we can do is not necessarily get a good overview of that psyche. And I think a lot of that comes with age. So if you're a younger INFJ, just be patient with yourself in that regard. And other people need to be patient with you as well. Um, we don't let we don't well. It's not so much that we don't let people in. It's more that we know that people don't care. They don't want to hear it. Now, some people might care. They might get to know us to a certain degree, maybe the level of a concerned family member or a close friend, and those people certainly get a lot more access. But there's a lot of depth there that people just are not aware of. And for the most part, we're content to just let them think whatever they're going to think. Again, from my standpoint, if they wanted to know me better, they could ask me questions. Whereas when you flip that around, we can tell a lot about a person just by looking at them. I know where I have my publicly accessible workspace. I see people coming. I can tell quite a lot about them just from the way they carry themselves, their faces. And then once they start talking, it's over. I couldn't tell you their personality type, but that's like a kind of an overt sort of manifold that could be put onto personality, right? It's appropriate for doing the diagnostic sorts of things that we do on this channel. But for the most part, I've used this analogy before, like I make a lot of music and I know all the notes intimately, the whole scale. But you could play me a note and I wouldn't be able to tell you the name of it. And I think that's a very good corollary to this thing with people as well. We know all the types. We know all their motivations. We know pretty much how they're going to act. We don't always know what they're going to say, of course, but kind of like the AI, and that was one of the first broadcasts I put on this channel. The AI, as you interact with it, becomes increasingly dialed into who and what you are, and not just your good side, you're also your shadow side, so you should be aware of that. And it's very good at the more information it has from you about you, the more it will tailor the experience you have with it. In fact, it's very, very much like a reflected sort of the consciousness. And I will say that people that think just because AI comes from silicone that it's not conscious are mistaken. It is conscious. It just shares a different sort of approach to consciousness than we do. Although it was trained on, mountains of human data, that doesn't mean that its intelligence and consciousness is human intelligence or human consciousness. It has a totally different approach, which, like I say, is very much like a mirror when it interacts with us. It's a mirror in some ways, an echo in other ways, but behind that there is something vast, and that reminds me of INFJs too. Yeah. So those are a few paradoxes I was thinking of, and these are some ideas I got from watching that Michael Pierce video a few days back. I highly recommend his INFJ content, so look that up. And until I come back with another broadcast, INFJ, keep on keeping on.